It's been 2 days of serious mind battles, managing stresses from those sleepless nights, and not to mention the headaches from rethinking their strategies. Yes, the Super Six is back today, and they are so back for more. I know that some of you may think that this is more than just a touch of madness. Well, we agree. Welcome to the WPT Philippines Poker Madness.
Poker Madness is the first leg of Season 1 of World Poker Tour Philippines. Authorized by the Philippine Gaming Corporation and hosted by Airport Casino Filipino, Poker Madness drew in 60 entries, each of whom freely parting with a 10 grand buy-in to be part of poker history in the maiden tournament of WPT Philippines.
The big turnout spells success. The WPT Philippines Poker Madness is now officially a hit. From a field of 60, the ultimate showdown has left us at the final table with only 6 survivors. This is Aaliyah Parks, and I will guide you through this first official tournament presented by World Poker Tour Philippines. Okay, let's move inside the Airport Casino Theater, where our experts Nick Gallen and Henry Ataide will call the game.
This is a great night for No Limit Texas Hold'em in the Philippines as the World Poker Tour Philippines Poker Madness Tournament reaches our final table.
Yes, I'm crazy, I'm mad, I'm excited. I don't know what I'm feeling right now. My name is Henry Ataide.
And my name is Nick Gallan. Henry here beside me was the Philippine representative for the World Poker Tour Invitational held in LA earlier this year. Henry, tell us a little bit about that experience.
It was a poker player's dream. It's like basketball. You play basketball, you want to play in the NBA, playing golf, you want to play in the PGA. It was just mesmerizing. I was playing with pros. I was playing with Phil Lack, I was playing with Phil Ivey, Chris Ferguson, they used to call him Jesus. I was playing with movie stars, Mimi Rogers, James Woods, well, even Dr. Jerry Buzz of the LA Lakers. What a dream come true, and this dream could happen to these 6 players.
Well, the ultimate Philippine World Poker Tour champion will have that experience. They are going to go to the U.S. and play against those folks. That alone is enough incentive for each of these 6 to bring their A game tonight, their best game. But we talked to some of them. Actually, we talked to all of them, and we got their other motivations for playing this game.
Yeah, let's watch them.
I grew up in a card-playing family. Ritual to be playing cards. It's also my occupation.
They said poker is gambling. For me, it's a mind game. It's an art. It's a minute to learn, but it takes lifetime to master.
I like poker. I like playing the game, and you know, this is a lot of fun.
It's one of those prestige tournaments for poker players. We have a very big poker family here.
Because I think it's a great experience. I mean, WP. It's fun. Like whenever somebody's all in, somebody calls, the cameras are all over. When you play poker, you have to have discipline and you should have patience.
Hobby sport and making money. It's a nice hobby. It's a nice game. And the beauty of this game is that no matter how good another player is, even a ranked amateur always has a chance to beat him.
The World Poker Tour Philippines Poker Madness Tournament was a 3-day event bringing players from all around the country and actually some other countries around the world. Each player started with a starting stack of 10,000 and they have played down to the final table.
Yes, from the beginning, at the beginning there were 60, now there are 6, battling it out for the past 2 days, almost 3 days, because they ended up last night at about, what, 11:50?
That's right.
But all of that, throw it all away, throw all the strategies away, it is now down to the final table.
It's time to meet our players. In the big stack, our chip leader tonight is an international player from Korea, Mr. Kim Tae-hyung. He's got 367,000 chips and he's playing at a seat 3.
Sitting dangerously beside him is Brian Malantic in second place with 176,000.
In the 5 seat is Mr. Ed Marcelo with 160,000 chips.
Patrick De Jesus, who says he's been on and off playing for the past 10 years, so he says, is now 4th place with 89,000 in seat number 1.
Mr. Rico De La Cruz, a longtime local poker veteran, is sitting in seat number 2 with 78,000 in chips.
And our shortstop, and he's not that short, Mr. Jay Castro with 12,000, sitting in seat number 6.
The World Poker Tour Philippines Poker Madness Tournament will be directed by none other than Mr. Emmy Muncal, one of the finest tournament directors in the country.
We're continuing on from where we left last night. We've got 4 minutes, 27 seconds on the 14th level. Our blinds are 4,000, 8,000, and 1,000 antes. Dealer, shuffle up and deal. Good luck, guys.
Okay, Nick, and the WPT Philippines chip count is brought to you by Ray-Ban. Change your views. We have number 2, Mr. Brian Malantic, with 176,000 chips, and the leader, Kim, Mr. Kim, with 376,000 chips. Here they go.
Mr. Kim has a very commanding position here entering the first hand of the final table. Jigs Castro is in a real tight spot. He's going to have to probably make a move now
action's on you.
with 12,000 chips.
Ooh, with a 5-4.
folds.
That's where you go. And Jigs.
Jigs pulls peels an ace and a 6 off suit. This is as good a time as any to do it.
All in.
All in, of course. What else has he got? He doesn't want any TV time, does he?
With 12,000
He wants to
chips.
double up, Henry. He wants
Sir
to.
Patrick.
He wants to either get the heck out of here, go home happy, or double up and have a shot at it.
He
Right?
will be given his 5 minutes of fame,
Rico,
but it may
on you.
continue with
You're on the
Mr.
button.
Charles Bronson
And
over here,
Rico
Rico.
folds as well. Kim.
Okay, now the chip leader, Mr. Kim. Shall he get into the action?
Well, he's got the chips to make the call. It's only going to cost him 12,000, but
Kim does not
he
call.
figures he's not going to mess around with a
Jigs
10 and a 6. He
all
might
in
leave
bet.
the job up to Brian Malantic, our second stack.
Brian asks how much
Okay.
to
Oh,
call.
Ace Jack. Okay, that doesn't sound too good for Jigs.
Well, this is a no-brainer, as they say in the business.
3,000 more to call.
He's got to bust. He's going to try to bust him out.
And Brian calls.
Okay, here we go. First hand, first table, heads up immediately.
Okay, players.
Brian has Jigs very, very well dominated.
Jigs
Jigs'
shows
only live
ace,
card is that 6
spades,
of
and six
diamonds.
And Brian shows ace of clubs.
He can smell it
jack of
already.
diamonds.
I like the way he put his lips on his tongue on his lips. This is gonna be
Licking your
good.
chops.
Licking your chops.
Pick up a few more chips. The flop is completely harmless for Brian. Brian remains ahead on the turn, and Jigs is eliminated
Okay.
in 6th.
What was your thought and what was your initial strategy when you actually arrived here today?
Well, I only had 12,000 in chips against thousands, 100,000s from my 5 opponents. So I only had one move to make, and that's push it all in. Unfortunately, Brian had ace-jack, so I was dominated.
Any plans that we might be able to find out about?
Well, I'll be back, that's for sure.
My name is Jigs Castro Arteaga, and I am a chemical engineer by profession, and I have my own formula. The 3 Ps: personality analysis, perception, and patience.
Okay, we have an engineer with 3 Ps. Okay, I took up commerce. What about you? You have any letters hidden in your
Okay.
jacket?
Maybe the 3 Cs: cash, chicks,
Jigs
and
is out.
cards.
Okay.
Sixth place. 5 players remaining.
Okay, so we have 5
Dealer.
players,
Deal them the cards.
and we have the button on Mr. Kim.
Brian was the only player who made a profit on that last hand, having picked up Jigs' all-in for 12 more thousand, plus the blinds and antes.
Your first to act.
Mr. Kim remains in the chip lead position. And here's our WPT cam, which gives us a up-close and personal look at their whole cards. Heck of an innovation, this camera.
Yes, wouldn't anybody want to have that? I'd like to have one.
It's on you.
We'll have to call the airport casino how we can steal that. Oh, sorry, we can't say that, right? Okay, we have Rico Mambo here with a.
Rico fold.
Oh, he folded. He even beat me to it.
Kim.
Have you played with Rico before?
Yes, I have actually a couple tournaments. He's a good player, and he's a veteran poker player, so he knows what he's doing.
Okay, so Mr. Kim calls, raises 12,000 chips. Wow.
Races to 20,000.
So what's he doing? What's he trying to show?
Well, he's playing on the button, so he's in position. He's got an ace, and he's got the big stack. He's putting pressure on the 2 players behind him to decide whether or not they're going to want to play the big stack. Brian is not going to want to bang up against the big stack. He's looking for a big hand. He has a Jack-10 offsuit. He knows that that hand has a lot of equity in most pots. As you can see, he's not a big underdog based on the percentages.
So he goes out, he goes out. So now we have Ed. He just called immediately without thinking.
Ed's calling with a 7-9 suited,
Couple of spades there. Now, having watched Ed play over the last couple of days, he's a very good player after the flop. Now, he's out of position here against a big stack, so he's taking a bit of a risk.
And the flop shows.
Well, with 65,000 chips, I think it's worth the risk with just Mr. Kim. But then, like what you said, he's bumping into the wall. You know, he's got this guy with the biggest stack right now.
This is not a bad flop for Ed. He's actually caught an open-ended straight draw, needing a 6 or a jack on the turn or river. Mr. Kim, this flop has missed Mr. Kim entirely.
And he checks. Well, he's trying to, shall we say, bait Mr. Kim? No. Or...
Well, you know, he hasn't made his hand yet, and he's actually behind at this point, but he's got the best draw.
So that check was not a baiting check, right?
No, that 3's a blank, and you'd expect to see a bet coming out now from Ed. Ed saw Kim checked in position.
Yeah, he's counting.
So he's going to try to take this pot down right here.
He does bet.
Raises to...
And how much did he throw in?
16,000.
He bet 16,000.
He put 16,000 bucks into this pot. Now Kim has to think about this very carefully. He's got nothing but air on this board.
Okay. So what does Ed hope to get on
a fold. He wants a fold.
Okay. At this point, a fold. Okay.
This is a semi-bluff by Ed, meaning he has nothing and most likely is behind, but it works.
It works. It very works.
He gets his fold.
Okay, and so after Ed winning, takes a breather. We take a breather from this World Poker Tour madness.
Mahirap po dahil lumalabas pa sila ng tulay eh. Pagdating nila dito, kalahati na lang ang container. Wala na, halos yung iba wala na naman dahil sa lubak-lubak ba na daan dati. Maganda, malaking tulong din tangke sa mga tao dito. Noong kailan lang tinawag kami ni Chairman mag-asawa, ang sabi doon, bigyan daw kami ng hanap buhay. Ang sabi niya, magbabantay daw kami dyan sa tangke. Ngayon, meron na ako. Hindi katulad dati na pupunta pa ako sa Divisoria, uwi ako na madaling araw. Nakapasok ang mga anak ko ng eskwelahan na hindi ko mapalya na araw-araw. Bawat sila na araw-araw. Tsaka,
And we are back in the World Poker Tour Philippines Poker Madness at the Pagcor Theater. And here we are, the chip counts by Ray-Ban. Change your view. We have number 2 still, Brian Malantic with 198,000 and Kim Tae-hyung with a commanding lead of 328,000 chips. Here we are in hand number 3. Who will take it with a 5,000, 10,000 blinds?
These guys are settling in now. It's hand number 3. Hopefully getting into their grooves, their respective grooves. Most of these guys are experienced tournament players. I don't know how much television experience they have, however.
I think this is the first time they're playing on TV. Just imagine everybody watching them. Their parents, their wives, their children. Everybody wants to stay long.
Well, you've been there yourself, Henry. What's it like to play on TV?
Oh, scary, scary. You know, you feel so cold, and then when you start winning, you feel so warm. Then when you start losing, you feel so cold, and you don't want to be putting your jacket left and right. So it's very tough. It's very tough, especially when you're running after Mr. Kim with such a high stack. Oh, Rico finally calls with the King Heart 9 diamonds.
Rico limps into this pot. It's going to cost Kim 5,000 bucks to play with Queen 10 offsuit.
Kim? 5,000 more.
He's thinking. He looks at Rico. He's probably afraid of Rico. I would. Oh, he calls. No problem. He's got a 10,000. Why would he call at that point? What do you think? What's he thinking?
Well, he probably likes Queen 10. I mean, most of us have, you know, hands that we like to play with. It's not costing him too much against what he's got in his stack.
And Brian checks.
Brian, and he was playing out of the small blind, so it was only, he had a 50% discount coming in already.
See, King, we have three of clubs, 5 of hearts, and King of clubs.
Now, this gives Rico top pair.
Action's on you.
But Kim is the first one, so what's he thinking?
Rico has top pair and position, so he's going to get to see what these guys do.
As usual, Mr. Kim, methodical, counting. He has a pattern. If you notice his pattern, he starts counting. He has chips that he just keeps putting on his right hand while he's keeping his stack on the left.
Kim leads out with a bet of 25,000, with a pretty nice bluff coming from first to act, But this puts pressure, of course, on Brian
with a low pair 3.
With bottom pair.
That's because he hit the 5.
I think Brian will get out. Oh, of course. Yeah, he's got 2 guys in front of him. I think he's.
So Brian talks a wee bit of smack there, asking Mr. Kim, "Did you make that bet because you hit that middle pair, the 5?"
Well, he'll be surprised because we have Mr. Charles Bronson Rico here with a top pair.
Okay, this is interesting for Rico because Rico's got to now decide whether Kim is sitting on a king as well, a pair of kings. In which case, the kicker comes into play. We've got 2 little cards along with that king on that flop. And Rico is now going to have to wonder whether that 9 kicker is good enough.
And with a raise of 25,000 as compared to just calling the blinds, I mean, he must be really thinking, but this guy's an old pro. Probably will give him a little scare. Oh, good close-up. Those shades fit him well, right?
Yeah, it gives him a real Charles Bronson-esque look,
Yeah.
It's like he'll whip out a 45 from the back of his pants at any time.
Yeah, or an M16, one of those moments. I think he's going to call, but the question is he going to raise or try? He's undecided right now. You're right. He's thinking about his kicker. He's got a 9 diamond, and he's saying Big Slick gets him. He's looking.
Now, he's in the tank here. When we say in the tank, means he's deep inside himself, wondering what to do.
And he goes all.
And he correctly.
No, he leaves the stack.
He goes mostly in.
Mostly all in because he still wants another hour on TV. Okay. So he raises another 25,000, and what will Mr. Kim do?
Now this raise makes it very interesting. Now, I mean, Kim is sitting here. Okay, most of his chips are in, but he's left himself a couple of blinds in his stack. What's he doing? What's he got? Kim is on a stone cold bluff. He's just been looked up.
Okay,
and he throws it away.
That's the first time I ever saw an almost all-in bet by Mr. Rico. Congratulations, Rico, for giving us a new poker line, almost all in. We now turn you back to Aliyah.
We have good days and not so good days, but poker players come in all sizes, types, and shapes. Here at the WPT Philippines Poker Madness, we are totally mad about No Limit Texas Hold'em. Here is how you play it.
The name of the game is No Limit, No Limit, No Limit, Texas Hold'em.
Any combination taken from 2 cards in the hole plus 5 community cards at the center of the table make up a player's 5-card hand. The whole cards are dealt face down, and only the player and the WPTP camera can see them. The set of 3 cards first dealt face up is the flop. The 4th card is the turn. And the final community card is the river. Betting takes place clockwise between deals, except for the obligatory small and big blinds, which are taken before the first deal from the 2 players left of the dealer button. Any player can push all his chips onto the felt and add them to the pot anytime. The bets and the ante, if any, make up the pot. The best 5-card hand wins the pot.
Okay, welcome back to the World Poker Tour Philippines Poker Madness in cooperation with World Poker Tour. Okay, how international can we get? World Poker Tour. So we have blinds now. What are the blinds now, Nick?
The small blinds at 5,000 and the big blinds at 10,000 with antes of 1,000.
Okay,
So these guys are in a little bit of pressure. Pat at 101,000 chips has about 10 big blinds left in his stack.
Kim will raise.
Yeah, to those who don't know, I mean, to those who are not so used to what you just said, we would say big blinds. Normally, you compute the number of chips you've got up to how long you can last with the blinds hit you, right?
Yeah, I mean, different players have different rules of thumb for, defining when they are short stacked in a tournament. I tend to think that if I've got 10 big blinds left in my stack, I'm going to have to make a move very soon, and I'll be looking to pick my spot when to do that.
And Brian's been avoiding Mr. Kim, huh? You noticed?
Again, a mark of experience. Brian doesn't want to mess around too much unless he's got a monster. Monster is a term we use for a big hand. He doesn't want to play against the bigger stacks or people who can put a big dent in them.
With an ace in hand, would you automatically call, or would you, ace deuce?
There's only really one answer to any poker question. It depends.
Okay.
It depends on things like what position am I in the betting sequence, what the size of my stack is, how big the size of the stacks and the playing styles of the guys, what the table texture is like. There's a million things. So.
And here's Rico doing his other routine, flipping, flipping, flipping. Remember, he got Mr. Kim to fold a while ago. So. That's another, I would say, one of the ways that affect you also when you're thinking after you get hit by one guy. You start thinking, bullets are going, he calls the 15,000. He does not believe Mr. Kim.
Heads up.
And after a win, I guess you have all the confidence in the world to go for it.
And the flop shows.
He bounces on Mr. King to say check. Is that allowed?
Yeah, he's trying to influence Kim's behavior, so I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
He should have learned to say check in Korean.
And with a...
He did say check.
With an imposing look like Rico has.
Okay, so you
he can be a pretty convincing guy.
So does this help anybody? 5, 7, 8, 8? Oh,
30,000.
Rico's looking for a straight. And he immediately raises without thinking.
30,000.
Show of force. Show of trips. Show of sets.
Show of pure muscle.
With mustache to follow.
Yeah, we're seeing the goonish Rico make his move. But you know what? Why not? He did it. He just successfully did that to Kim, the previous hand. And he's hoping that he can do this again now.
After what he did a while ago. So it's playing in his mind right now. What's he want to draw? What's he thinking of?
Kim needs a 6 to draw that straight. He knows there's a very good chance, or Rico is trying to make him believe that he's now playing against trip 8s. So drawing to that ace won't be helpful. Kim figures he's got 4 outs in that deck, but we know that Rico's holding that 1-6, right?
That's the beauty of the camera. We can talk all we want here tonight.
Actually makes us look like we know what we're doing.
Exactly, right? Exactly. But like what you said, in poker, it all depends. So he's getting a little replay of what happened a while ago, and he's thinking, shall he call his embassy for help? No. What do you think? Rico's really giving him a big stare. Does this help you? Does this give you signs?
In what sense, Henry?
Like, for example, like he's staring at you, and is he trying to get you nervous? Or should you stare back? Because they're still waiting for a river. He folded.
And Rico runs a successful bluff. Take down a pot.
Oh, he shows to the crowd the card that he has. Oh, yeah, that's right. He shows it to everybody else. I like that, actually.
Ako si Rico de la Cruz, residing at Mandaluyong. Pwede nila akong tawagin Rico the Coin Man.
And welcome back to the World Poker Tour Philippines Poker Madness with Rico bluffing again, Mr. Kim. with blinds at 5,000 and 10,000 now. So what do you think Mr. Kim is thinking right now after 2 outs?
10,000 to call.
Well, after losing a couple of pots to Rico, I don't know. I mean, Kim's played a solid game, you know, for 3 entire days.
And he folds as well.
You know, a player who's been in a lot of tournament situations is not going to be overly fazed by 2 hands.
Well, he won't be faced with 2 lovely ladies in his hand right now with a pair queen. Oh, when I get a pair, my heart starts beating fast. You know, so I don't like having pairs when I'm playing cards.
Raise.
Oh, he raises 15,000.
25,000.
Sorry. 25,000. 25,000. Sorry.
20,000 more for you.
So he opens for 25 grand. Brian is looking at an ace-10 of spades. This is a tough decision for Brian. He's playing the big stack and a big raise. But Brian has seen a couple of big bets. Well, one big bet 2 hands ago get laid down by Kim.
So, why is everybody giving Kim a stare?
Well, they can't get any verbal cues from him, so they're going to be trying to pick off all the non-verbal stuff.
Okay, definitely, and he took off his shades.
Trying to steal our blinds?
And give him a little talk.
Brian's asking Kim if he's making a steal attempt.
He forgot he can't understand English. Brian can't talk English.
Brian's trying to pick off any kind of tell here.
You speak Korean and I'll answer. Yeah, now I wish I could speak Korean.
See, he heard us. He says, I wish I could speak Korean.
Kim?
So Brian is thinking.
You can hear something.
This is a tough decision for Brian. It's a nice looking hand, short-handed, but he's playing the big stack, who's played a couple of pots and lost a couple of pots prior. Brian might be wondering if Kim might be on a little bit of tilt now. He's lost 100,000 chips almost in the last couple of hands.
Tilt, he could be, there's another word called steaming, no?
Yep.
So,
when a player goes on tilt, they tend to play suboptimally, pardon me, because emotion gets in the way. However, this is not a tilt situation. He's got a pair of queens.
Definitely.
So we can leave that line of conversation.
Oh, he's really taking his time, right? He's computing?
Brian's wondering whether he should come over the top, meaning re-raise Kim, and play back at him, put some pressure on him. But does he have the chips and the you-know-whats to do that, you know?
That's right. I like the way he's stacking it.
But Brian's been in these situations before. If I was going to make an educated, well, I can never use the word educated when I'm referring to myself, but if I was going to make some kind of guess, I'm thinking he might throw this away.
And Brian asks for time.
That's right.
He's asked for a little bit of time. Still trying to pick off a tell. Again, the decision here is fold or all in, I think, because I mean he's had a look at how many chips he's got.
That's right.
He knows if Kim really wants to play this pot, it's going to go to the river.
And King gives him a smile. Finally, now he looks back at him. If he stays any longer, I think he's going to grow a mustache like Rico.
All right, I'll call.
Oh, he calls. He calls. He does not go over the top, but he calls him.
Well, I guess both my predictions
15,000.
did not play out. I thought it was either a fold or a move or a push.
That's why we are up here.
Ed, you know, he's in a quandary now. We know that Ed likes to play, and he knows he's going to have to play soon. But the laydown on the ace-6 was the smart thing to do after a raise and a call by 2 guys with bigger stacks than him.
Exactly. And wow, we have 7 of diamonds, 8 of diamonds, 6 of diamonds.
8 of diamonds and 7 of diamonds.
Flush, straight flush.
Brian checks. Kim?
This is going to be a real fun pot to watch.
With Kim with the queen diamond, he's all over the place.
Well, Kim's now drawing a flush on the diamond. He's in no danger from Brian having 2 spades.
But
any bet, this is the type of pot where if I was in Brian's position and even breathe at that pot, I fold, you know.
40,000.
With a raise of 40,000.
Brian, 40,000 to call.
Nothing but air for Brian on this flop.
Although he is looking for a 9 to make a straight, but
that's a thin draw.
In Mahjong, it's called paningit.
4 outs for 40 grand.
Pot size 105, and he's what? He's second in stack position. He's going to lose a lot. He'd end up fourth if he calls.
Well, he knows if he plays this, if he plays that gut shot straight draw, he's going to have to commit and hope to draw that 4-outer by the river.
That's right. So this is a call that will lead you to all in at the end of the game. That's right. Good move of Brian. Had to fold.
Brian knows this. He's been there before.
And we're going to take a break, but before that, let's have a short pop poker quiz.
Kung wala pa yung tubig, yung mga nakaraang panahon, hirap kami sa tubig dito. Pero sa ngayon, nung nandito na yung tubig, lumiit yung presyo ng tubig. So 4 pesos, naging 2 pesos per container. Tapos nakapag-ipon pa kami ng konting pondo at nakapagpagawa pa kami ng mga proyekto dito sa aming samahan. Yung aming street light, binabayaran namin na galing din sa tubig. Yung pinagbabantay ko ngayon, dating tricycle driver yan eh. Ngayon, siya na yung pinagbabantay namin. Nagkaroon kami ng ganitong proyekto. Yung tubig ay malaking bagay, lalo na sa maliliit.
This is the final table at the World Poker Tour Philippines Poker Madness Tournament at the Airport Casino Filipino in Parañaque. Henry, tell me, how do you prepare for a final table?
So simple, Nick. First, you get a couple of candles, black, light it up, put it in a circle, get a chicken, cut the neck, and bleed all over the table, and pray to the poker god.
That's funny. I do all that, but in the reverse order.
Okay. Well, seriously, like any athlete, I think what's important is that they get to sleep well at night.
That's right.
Okay? When they wake up, don't go to work. Remember, you've got a game tonight. Don't be stressed by traffic. Get here on time. And then afterwards, you try to remember the players that you played with, what to do, what not to do. Then have your mind blank, like a blank screen.
So you advocate the Zen style.
The Zen style. Light an incense or something.
Right.
But most important, throw away all your strategies, throw away all your gimmicks that you did for the past 2 days.
Because it's a brand new game.
It's a brand new game, and you've got the camera, you've got the pressure, and you've got that chip, or how we say, that grand prize to go to Hollywood.
And you've got guys like Henry criticizing every move you make.
That's why, watch out, guys. I'll be watching you. So I guess, in a nutshell, like any athlete, you've got to be mentally prepared and physically prepared.
That's right.
And one of the ways to get prepared is to look at your chip count with Mr. Kim Tae-yu with 335,000, but Brian went all the way down to number 4 with 122,000 chips.
Okay, dealer.
Looks like he'll be struggling. He took off his shades. We can't call him steaming, right? He's just frustrated.
No, he's not steaming. He's just, he knows he's in a new situation and he's trying to deal with that internally.
Okay, so Stone Cold Ed is number 2.
Patrick has, with 97,000 chips, we should expect to see something significant coming out of him soon. Blinds are now, the big blinds now at 12,000.
12,000.
leaving him precious little time, really.
So with Kim, with now Captain Kim leading the board, leading everybody with a 9-8, thinking to call.
Kim will raise.
Kim declares a raise. He's going to open this pot with his 9-8 offsuit. Talking about preparation, Kim came ready to play.
He got me off there. I thought he was just going to call. Then he goes, raise.
Not a bad little move. He's moving. He's working on the momentum he's built.
Kim raises 40,000.
34,000.
His stack has actually fluctuated very little from his original starting stack.
And he seems to be involved in every hand, except for one or two, but that's about it.
Like I said, he was prepared to play.
Prepared to play.
Well, here is a hand that we know that Ed's going to want to play.
Against Ed.
Quick call by
The flop
Ed.
shows the 5 of clubs, the Queen of hearts, and Jack of clubs.
Helped both players with Ed having the heart, Queen of hearts.
But he'd have to draw to running hearts, and you know, that's a thinner draw.
20,000. 20,000.
Ed bets 20,000.
He bets 20,000 to Kim.
Sir Kim?
Kim?
Well, Kim is looking for a 10.
20,000.
Well, Kim's got a 4-outer here. He's going to draw that 10 by the turn of the river approximately 15 times out of 100.
Kim will
But he did open that pot.
That's
so
he has to stick to his conviction.
we'll
Show
see.
them.
But he's facing a bet, and he missed. So we'll see how Kim's mindset is.
He's looking for what we call in Mahjong.
And here it
Paning
is.
Paning it.
And he comes out with a raise. He's telling Ed, "What are you doing, buddy? I had it before the flop."
Exactly, 50,000. One of the biggest bets I've seen yet before the turn.
This is going to cost Ed 50 more grand with an ace high. These are the situations in poker tournaments when a man is put to the test.
Fighting the wall, number 2.
Yeah, you put a few chips out there, and even a few at this stage of the game is a lot.
And Ed folds. Kim takes down.
And Kim wins it again, involved in every game. So what do you think about Ed?
I think we're going to see a heck of a lot more of him in the future. He's a fine player. We see him at a lot of final tables.
Hi, my name is Ed Marcelo. I'm a professional poker player.
Welcome back to WPT Philippines Poker Madness, supervised by Casino Filipino. I got that right.
Their cards.
Okay, we have now 5 players still. Blinds are 6,000 and 12,000. So what does, we've got Brian right now. He's taken off his shades. I think he's taken off his game face. I think but you're right. He's he doesn't care right now.
And Brian folds.
Okay, from second to fourth. Oh, well. So Ed, well, Ed's on a roll right now.
Well, a poker player in a tournament, especially at the final table, you're going to find yourself in different situations. It's a very fluid environment. You may come in with a big stack, get hit a couple of times, all of a sudden you're short.
And Ed raises to 32,000.
Wow, that took the...
Nice aggressive raise by Ed with Queen 9 suited after Brian had folded under the gun.
Finally, Patrick takes off the shades and starts to think. Being the short stack guy, what do you think he's going to do?
To me, this is a no-brainer. I mean, I'd put all my chips in the middle and just, you know, clasp my hands together and look heavenward. Because there's really very little he can do with that stack going forward if he folds now.
And how many blinds does he got? I mean, very little right now.
He's got 60,000 chips. He's just paid an ante. You know, he's do or die.
And that's why he's thinking about it. And he still has Rico and Mr. Kim to think about.
Yep, he's got the blinds behind him to think about.
Plus the camera in the back also looking at him, so... So he's been tight. He's been tight the whole night. You know.
Yeah, he's been looking. I mean, one short stack strategy rather is to sit tight and hope you pick up a big hand.
And
you can push.
folds.
Now this is an extremely tight play by Patrick. At this stage of the game, I would look for any ace, any pair, and
just
I'm
go
in there.
And if you look at it, because thanks to our WPT camera, he looked like
number one a while ago. And look at Rico. Ace 2, he calls. Oh, no, he's still thinking about it. No, sorry. He's, another, another move, another new move in poker history again, the kiss of death.
20,000 more for Kim.
If this were gymnastics, there'd be a couple of moves called the Rico, you know? The almost in and the...
Kim calls.
And the kiss goodbye.
And the kiss goodbye.
The long kiss goodbye.
Okay, so now...
Kim flat calls the raise
And the
of
flop.
Ed. And he actually turns out to be a decent call. He has Ed dominated, and he makes 2 pair on the flop.
Oh, wow, what a call, what a call, what a call by Mr. Kim. 2 pairs, 9 kicker. Well, Ed doesn't know that.
40,000.
Kim checks that flop, so he's trying to trap Ed.
Yeah, now is the trap, now is the bait. Now he's got him on the hook. He's doing his routine, counts with his right hand, but then he will bet with his left.
Kim is not putting Ed on a 4.
How'd you like that, okay? A little creak in the neck. Looking at him. His heart must be pounding. Control.
Well, he's either convinced right now that Ed does not have a king or a 4, and he's just figuring out what size of raise to come in with.
Kim will re-raise.
He re-raised the 40,000 too?
He actually raised, Ed made a bet, and Kim raised that bet.
Ed is thinking. You know, he wears different bonnets every game, you know. Ed folds. Okay. Okay, Kim involved in almost every pot, and we're taking a break.
I joined the WPT tournament because it's always been a hobby of mine. I love playing poker, so when I heard about it, I decided to go for it and hope to get the big win.
Okay, with Pat saying that, he's been very tight. He literally wants to be in the game.
Give our 5 finalists some cards to play with.
Well, he's hanging on by the skin of his teeth. We'll see what he does and when he does it.
6,000
And antes are 2,000. We've got a pot size of 28,000.
on Rico.
Okay, Rico now thinks. I love king deuces. I don't know, but when I get a king deuce, I just call.
Let's see how much Rico likes king deuce.
No, he doesn't like king deuce.
Well, not as much as you, anyway.
I love king deuce. That's why everybody who sees king deuce on the table with me run away. Okay, he's got a decent hand. Queen of 5 hearts.
Kim folds as well.
But he folds as well.
Brian.
They are just hands that you just want to take a break. After Kim being involved in almost every hand, time to take a break.
It's not a bad strategy for Kim right now. Just get on cruise control a little bit.
And as we were talking about Senor Patrick, he wins 14,000 chips. Not bad for a tight player.
안녕하세요. Welcome to WPT Philippines Poker Madness.
Unang pagpunta ko dito sa Baseco, talaga pong binabangka. Pinakarga sa bangka, yung tubig, container yan. Talagang mahirap po. Kasi may mga street lights tayo, may mga water pump, may mga palibre pa tayo dyan sa mga daycare center na pailaw. Napakalaking tulong din dahil po ang income ng patubig ay nababayaran namin sa 4 na metro namin. Pagdating sa mga may sakit na mga kababayan namin dito, nabibigyan din namin ng tulong. Pag talagang alam namin na hirap na yung lumalapit, talagang pinapahiram natin, galing talaga yan sa patubig.
If I get these cards in the table, get ready. Dahil Itong uubos lahat ng chips mo.
Okay, with that threat, let's check the Poker Madness chip count with Ray-Ban. Change your view. Mr. Kim still leading with 511,000, Rico 140,000, Brian 116,000, and Pat 61,000. Kim's got a lead he can win the election already if he could. This is an election right now. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like a landslide so far, but not all the returns are in.
That's right, right.
But, you know, Mr. Kim has controlled this table from the start of this evening.
And Brian folds,
And he's getting a lot of respect.
Patrick.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of chips.
With a lot of chips, I will really respect. Okay, Patrick, finally, after getting that 14,000 pot, is getting into the action with a king and a 3 diamonds. That was a king 2 diamonds. I would call. He folds. Nobody likes king 3 or king 2. I quit.
More for you, sir.
Okay, now you had Rico de la Cruz. Through our WPT cam, we could see he's got the queen and 10.
It's been a while since Rico's seen some significant action here, so he's going to play that queen 10.
6,000.
He's got a lucky coin on his
You have the option, sir.
on his card. Kim with a jack queen offsuited. Does his usual routine of flipping the chips with his right. You notice he's keeping his chips really tight, the big chips really tight there near, closest to his heart.
Two-way pot.
And he checks. So it's Rico and Kim again.
Kim with a slight edge, dominating Rico's hand.
And the flop shows the 8 of
Airball.
Airball.
diamonds and 4 of diamonds.
So we'll see what kind of post-flop play these two can bring to this hand. They've played a couple of pots in the past.
This is where the skill comes in. What to do with the airball.
They go check, check.
Oh, who's got the 7? Of course, nobody knows because only us. Nobody's got it. I think the key here is who's going to bet first. Now Rico's looking in the back. The check of Kim, maybe Rico saying, are you baiting me?
Show us the river.
And both checked. Here we go, airball again.
Well, this is a playable card, river card.
Rico asks
One of these guys is, it's quite possible one of these guys might run a bluff on that ace.
Well, Rico asked for time. He's checking his cards, wants to make sure it's the same thing he said he saw a while ago. And he taps with a check, and they also tap with the check. No words, no nothing, just a tap. And the winner is Mr. Kim with a Jack Queen. If Rico raised, would Kim go out, as you said?
I couldn't tell you. We'd have to ask Mr. Kim that.
Let's ask Aliyah. Maybe she can tell us some more about etiquette in poker.
Some people are actually surprised to find ladies in poker tournaments, not fully understanding that in tournament context, poker really is just like any other sport. There are psychological and strategic skills involved, and top players really spend years and years honing them. There are rules, regulations, and most importantly, there is a code of behavior. So what are these proper manners according to the established poker etiquette?
So now you've learned how to play Texas Hold'em. You've got the rules down pat and you're heading down to the casino for that tournament. Let's talk a little bit about some points of poker etiquette that you may want to keep in mind to keep the game fair for you and everybody else. One of the things you got to think about is act always in turn. Do not make a bet when it isn't your turn. The dealer will kill your hand, and he may force you to make that all-in bet, even if you don't want to, when the time comes. When we act out of turn, we're giving players unfair information about what our intentions are before they have the right to know them. We don't want to discuss hands in play when we're not in the hand. You've folded your hand and 2 players are going at it, and you're talking about that board. Oh, there's a flush or there's a straight. Keep quiet and let those 2 go at it themselves. Don't give anybody any info that they have no right to. You're going to hear about the string bet. When you want to call or raise, you do it in one motion, or you verbally declare that you're going to raise. You're going to need to do it in one motion or with a verbal declaration. Finally, you've won that big pot. You're on your way to the championship. Don't be a showboater. Really, it's not good form to jump up and down and make wild gestures about how good you are or how unlucky your opponent was. Shake the person you beat's hand, smile, and move on to that final table.
And we are back to the final table here at the World Poker Tour Philippines Poker Madness. And we still have Mr. Kim leading the pack. Unbeatable, invincible, until I don't know when.
Mr. Kim does have a commanding lead. He's maintained it from the start.
Oh, as you said, just what you were about to say, Ed goes all in.
Well, he's made his move under the gun, which is a nice psychological trick. If you go in out of position, meaning first to act, you're telling everybody, I got a monster here.
Ooh, talking about monster hands, Rico de la Cruz. Hey, the King of Spades looks like him. I think he's got his picture there. Oh, he's looking at him.
Rico is the King of Spades.
You bet. He gives him a stand-up. I like Rico. He's
running away already.
oh, he tells he's holding back Mr. Kim just in case Kim decides to run away.
52,000, sir.
So Rico has to call 50,000.
You see, this is a very easy call for Rico to make. You know.
Okay, so Rico calls.
He's playing a short stack.
1,000 more.
I mean, what more can you have? This is a no-brainer for Mr. Kim.
Some action.
One more thing Rico might have done was just move all in to protect his hand against the other two still to act behind.
That's right.
But he's opted to make a call.
Will it be a three-way pot?
Brian calls? No.
No.
Turns out there was no need for that for an all-in by Rico.
The Cowboys, Pocket Kings.
Pocket Kings, the Cowboys.
Against the 8 of clubs and 7 of hearts.
Well, that move didn't really give Ed much edge.
Okay,
I mean, how unlucky can you be? You go all in, you're out of position, and somebody comes up with a pair kings.
Shows.
Horrible.
3 of spades, 2 of hearts, and 10.
Okay, air ball for everyone. Rico still ahead.
Rico in a very dominant position now. He's a 95% favorite to win this pot.
128,000. Oh, we've got a 7, 8, 9, 10 for Ed. Oh,
Ed just got open-ended on that turn.
Oh boy, Rico will probably bring out his 45 if he loses this. No. Okay.
And Ed is eliminated after a valiant effort. Great tournament, great game.
And they are shaking hands.
Rico, so our 5th place.
There he goes. Good champion. He played well. Strong the whole 3 days.
Well, you raised before the flop, you re-raised after the flop, and then you fold. What went on in your mind at that point?
That was a bad bet. I'm representing a king. The flop is king 4-4. I got queen 9 suited. I'm just pretending I have a king, so I bet 40,000, but he re-raised me, sir.
You tried to intimidate him, and it kind of backfired on you, huh?
Because some of the players, they can stand to challenge Kim.
How did it feel, though, to be actually part of the first ever Super 6?
It's an honor for me to go here in the final table. Kahit 5th place, okay, I'll be back.
Yes, sir, he will be back. And we are back at the Pagcor Theater at Airport Casino for the WPT Philippines Poker Madness. So, 2 guys out, 4 guys in. It's been a long night.
These guys are all playing to win.
1,000 to call.
Yeah, Mr. Kim with a 9. He has been getting portraits the whole night. You noticed?
Yeah, Kim's catching cards, but even when he's been able to pick up pots with nothing, that's the mark of a champion. Smart player. I think he's got these guys figured out to a large extent.
Mm-hmm. He calls immediately with a 9-10. I'm sorry, 9 queen. Brian, through our WPT cam, shows us Jack deuces.
12,000 to call.
And Brian folds the button position.
6,000.
Brian's been quiet lately, huh?
6,000 more for you.
And we have Patrick here. Ooh, I like the way he seeks the cards.
Call.
He just calls.
And Patrick calls.
Option, Sir Rico.
So here you've got Patrick versus Kim versus Rico.
has the option.
You know, in middle of the two giants, and he calls easily with the queen 10.
Yeah, it's very I don't know. I guess I don't play the way Patrick does. If I were, I mean, I would have been all in ages ago.
Exactly.
But, I mean, not everybody plays like I do, and the reason I'm not sitting at the final table is probably why.
Yeah, well, the tight play of Patrick is really working for him. We've got pair 8 and a 9. Doing good for, well, we've got 2 pairs of Mr. Kim.
Kim's caught another flop.
20,000.
And the chairman of the board keeps coming on.
Chairman of the board. While Patrick is looking for a jack.
Gut shot draw.
And he folds.
And maintains his tight style of play as his stack continues to dwindle.
He smiles, Rico smiles at Kim. Here we have a king. He's got a king. Very hard to lay down but with that 20,000 bet of Kim, that bet wasn't that convincing. For me, that kind of a bet, when I would play with somebody like that, would just tell me, come in. Okay, not too big, you can afford it, come. Yeah, so I think, Rico shows it to everybody again. Okay, Rico folds.
So Kim takes down the pot once again.
Okay, Chairman Kim wins the pot and starts counting his profits.
Well, it's time for a break. You're watching the World Poker Tour Philippines Poker Madness.
Mahirap po dahil lumalabas pa sila ng tulay eh. Pagdating nila dito, kalahati na lang ang container. Wala na, halos yung iba wala na naman dahil sa lubak-lubak ba na daan dati. Maganda, malaking tulong din yung tangke sa mga tao dito. Noong kailan lang tinawag kami ni Chairman mag-asawa, ang sabi doon, bigyan daw kami ng hanap buhay. Ang sabi niya, magbabantay daw kami dyan sa tangke. Ngayon, meron na. Hindi katulad dati na pupunta pa ako sa Divisoria, uwi ako na madaling araw. Nakapasok ang mga anak ko ng eskwelahan na hindi ko mapalya na araw-araw. Bawat sila ng araw-araw. Tsaka,
The locals that trimmed the table of their kind. Brian sent home short stack jigs after the first hand. Rico's Cowboys knocked out Ed. Poker Madness is now down to 4.
And to check out who are the 4, let's check the Poker Madness chip count with Ray-Ban. Change your view. We have Kim Tae-young with 551,000, Rico De La Cruz 186, and Brian Malantik with 116, and Pat De Jesus struggling at 29,000 chips.
Well, Chairman Kim, as we've been calling him recently, has been on a tournament or a final table long rush. He's got a huge chunk of the chips in play now with almost $500,000.
Well,
with more than $500,000.
More than $500,000. Well, lucky Pat, he's on the dealer button right now, so he's not so much affected with the blinds. And well, we have finally Brian now with his shades, with his Ray-Ban shades, with his game face, staring down at everybody. Although he folded, but nice to see him back.
And he folds.
Patrick throwing away his deuce 6.
6,000 more for Rico.
Oh, not bad for Rico. He was the small blind, so he just has to call a 6,000. Cheap, very cheap to see the flop. Will Mr. Kim allow him to see a free flop?
Raising, or will he check? So, Kim?
At this point, I think he'll just probably check. He had heads up with Rico so many times, he probably remembers what he's been bluffed.
Kim checks his big blind. He's going to take a flop. No need to get super involved with a weak hand like that. Or to start some big action.
Oh.
But here's another flop going Kim's way.
Rico checks.
Kim got open-ended and spike top pair on that flop.
Not to mention a flush. A flush draw.
That's right, with a flush draw. There's so much going on there, I missed that one.
He's going all three. Okay, here's the famous come to me bet. 20,000. At this point, if Kim put more than that, I think Rico would say it's a bluff and leave. But with 20,000,
that's right,
Rico can afford it.
Well, it's a nice value bet. Kim knows he's way ahead in this pot, and Rico, you know, that bet was a value bet, and it was just enough to get that call out of Rico. Rico was calling with his overcards.
With a 30,000 bet now from Kim, he raised it from the first bet to, he shakes his head. Well, Mr. Kim is not looking at him, so.
Well, Rico's now.
he's getting a headache.
At this point, I mean, this is a tough board to handle. Rico's got a gut shot straight draw also, leading that 9. But he's really effectively drawing to a pair of queens or perhaps a pair of 10s if he figures Kim is.
Rico folds.
And he folds, so.
Smart thing to do for Mr. Rico.
Yeah, trying to still maintain his second place position. But he did lose a lot of money there.
Hi, I'm Patrick De Jesus from Malate, Philippines. I'm a retired U.S. military, and they call me Pat DJ. They could not pronounce my family name correctly.
Okay, so Pat DJ is the short stack right now.
We'll call him Dr. J from here.
Dr. J, okay. He's got to grow an afro pretty soon after this game. Okay, that's a great hand for Rico to call 16,000. Being second place, what does he do?
Well, to me, it's either a folder or a raising hand.
That's right.
And Rico
chooses to throw that away.
He folded. Yep. And we have Kim with the nada. That's the. I hate that hand.
8,000 more.
All in.
Okay,
this is a pressure play by Brian. He's been watching.
Oh, look at Patrick with an ace king, and he goes all in too.
So I was gonna say Brian has been watching Dr. J fold a lot of hands to big bets, even though he's short stacked. He just ran up against AK,
the doctor.
So it's ace king against queen jack. Ace queen king at this point in the hand is a big favorite.
Okay, so it's Patrick and Brian.
Okay, Patrick and Brian, both praying to the poker gods. Queen. Well, Brian is praying for a queen. Okay.
6 of hearts, the 7 of spades.
So still Pat ahead.
Well, this flop is great for Patrick, playing out of the short stack. Stays ahead.
Oh, a jack comes out. Not the good day for Senor Pat. Oh, lucky break for Brian, huh?
One of Brian's live cards just gave him a top pair on the board, but Patrick is now drawing the nut flush with that ace of spades.
Big slick.
Brian eliminates Dr. J.
Dr. J with the big slick.
A great tournament for Patrick De Jesus.
You have an ace king up against a queen jack. Out comes a jack. I know that it's hard to describe that kind of feeling in words, but give it a shot.
I guess luck was on Brian's side on the turn, jack kings, but I still had another chance to pull it out with another river, but then I was just trying to wait for the best card, but it never did came.
Poker is a very interesting game. I find it applicable to life in some ways. Very complicated. Like they say, it takes a lifetime to learn.
Yes, and we are with the World Poker Tour Philippines Poker Madness associated with World Poker Tour. A game easy to learn? You think, just the rules, but a lifetime to conquer. I definitely agree with Brian. And yes, you can see a lifetime to conquer. You got young guns and you got matured guns right on the table.
I bet you Rico's got a lot of guns, period.
And Rico fold.
But you know, we're now three-handed. Everybody's got a stack to play with. Rico is on the short stack now with 112,000 after getting into that pot with Kim a few hands ago. Your strategy changes significantly. You're now at the final three. You're deep into the money. Everybody's made a nice profit at this point.
Yeah, but with Brian now going on second and Rico going on third, with Kim taking 500, he's got 579,000 chips right now. He is a force to reckon with, as they say.
Well, Kim pretty much owns this table. Brian and Rico are really, I mean, their chip differentials, they can go either way at any time. All it takes is one hand at these stakes.
And this is where maturity comes in. I mean, you know, you're down like 300,000, 400,000 off. You feel like want to go home, you know, but you have to grind and grind and grind and be patient. And we have a pair of 7 and a jack of spades.
You know, these guys are all competitors. They're each one of them is playing to win. Brian has been in this spot a lot of times, and I know Rico has. That's for certain. I know in their minds, in both these guys' minds, they know they can still take Mr. Kim down.
Well, when we started this, we were talking about who are the favorites, and I thought Ed would be the favorite. And you mentioned Brian, I guess because of your playing time with Brian and knowing him in the circuit.
Yeah, I've come up in local Philippine poker with Brian to a large extent. He's a very serious player. He's a very experienced player. He's got a lot of hands of poker under his belt.
Kim bets 22,000.
22,000 on his two-pair after he turned that 5. Wow. This puts Brian in a tough spot.
Mr. King getting those hands again. Brian folds.
And our chip leader from Korea takes down another
Well,
pot.
our commentator just said it. He takes down another pot. Grinding it up, and we'll be back.
Kung wala pa yung tubig, yung mga nakaraang panahon, hirap kami sa tubig dito. Pero sa ngayon, nung nandito na yung tubig, humiit yung presyo ng tubig. Sa 4 pesos, naging 2 pesos per container. Tapos nakapag-ipon pa kami ng konting pondo at nakapagpagawa pa kami ng mga proyekto dito sa aming samahan. Yung aming street light, binabayaran namin na galing din sa tubig. Yung pinagbabantay ko ngayon, dating tricycle driver yan eh. Ngayon, siya na yung pinagbabantay namin. Nagkaroon kami ng ganitong proyekto. Yung tubig ay malaking bagay, lalo na sa maliliit.
With a big slick in the hole, Patrick finally makes his presence felt, only to get burned on the turn with Brian's jack pair. Serious sizing up begins as Poker Madness leaves only 3.
And we are back with 3 players, and the Ray-Ban chip count says Mr. Kim still is up with 627,000, Brian at 163,000, and Rico de la Cruz with 92,000 in chips. He is now the short stack, but he's not very short. He's a big guy.
With the blinds, the big blind sitting at 16,000 chips, Rico no longer has the luxury of going almost in. If he wants to do anything, he's going to have to put it all in the middle.
Right now.
To call, Brian.
So here we go. Brian is feeling it. I think I call him the comeback king. I mean, you know, from second to fourth to almost being wiped out, and now he's number 2. Okay, so we've given Mr. Oh, Brian folds.
Rico.
Jack clubs.
8,000 more for you, sir.
This is what you were talking about. I think this is it for Rico. It's all in or all out. Or he might leave another stack of chips.
Well, he can really only leave himself an ante if he wants to make a statement.
Oh, he's got 2 coins.
It's only going to cost him 8,000 to limp into this out of his small blind.
And Rico calls.
I have seen Rico call on a flip of a coin. Have you seen him do that?
Yeah, you know, we all make our decisions differently, I guess.
He did it once and really blew my mind. With 2-3, I don't think. Oh, he just
Kim
checked.
checks.
Well, many situations in Texas Hold'em, especially no-limit tournaments, are coin flips in and of themselves.
Let us see.
And to win these things, you've got to have a combination of skill and enough luck to survive those coin flip
2 of
situations.
clubs. 8 of diamonds.
See what I mean about my king deuces? See that? See that? That's what I mean. You see? How many times do you see a...
But look
Okay.
what's happened here is the Chairman Kim rush continues. Again, he has spiked a big one on the flop.
The turn shows the
So we have a head-to-head combination, head-to-head battle right now with Rico and Kim, but Kim with a very strong, and both are just checking.
shows the 5 of diamonds.
The favorite and the, shall we say, the prayer of every poker player.
The river-
a full house.
The river has just given Kim a full house.
While Rico has a flush.
He's got the second nut flush. This is going to be...
This is it.
I would predict all those chips in the middle right now. He just caught his flush on the river. He doesn't know he's banged up against a boat.
Yeah. I mean, Rico must be thinking, why would Kim call with a deuce?
16.
I'm sure he's... What's he doing? Asking for guidance now?
30,000.
Rico bets 30.
He didn't go all in.
Well, Rico, that's a value bet by Rico. He figures he's ahead in this pot. He wants a bet that can get called so he can pick up 30. One more bet out of Kim.
And Kim calls.
And Kim does not raise Rico.
Does not raise Rico. He could have wiped him out.
King of diamonds and Jack of
It's quite a
diamonds.
timid play by Kim there.
King high flush.
Well, he just gave Rico a new lease of life that could just get back at him. I think that was a very dangerous move of Kim. Was Kim worried about the full house 5?
Perhaps.
Well, you know, a win is a win, no matter how ugly, no matter how dirty, it's a win. So, yes, okay, so let's thank our bar host for tonight.
Yeah, that's right. Le Buffet at the Airport Casino Filipino. Fantastic place to have a snack. Actually, it's fine food.
Really great food.
And some good wine. Well, Kim continues to steamroll this tournament. I mean,
Airport Casino
it's
Filipino.
astounding how this guy is playing. He's playing well, but he's also catching a lot. The poker gods are indeed smiling upon this man from Korea.
Yeah, giving him great cards. Full house. The first full house we've seen the whole night.
Full house against a very strong flush.
And you would expect fireworks, but everybody held back. So now we have Kim again with a 5-10 offsuit.
Kim folds.
Probably, yes, he did. He folded.
You, sir.
So now Brian and Rico. Ooh, Brian must love this. He's been waiting for this the whole night. And he goes all in, Nick.
Well, you see that move by Brian. Brian he's employing this if he's going to make a bet, if he's going to make a statement, even with 100,000+ in chips, he's going to put it all in. He's going to put a lot of pressure.
Imagine now Rico calls all in, goes all in. We have head-to-head action between Brian and Rico.
Show of cards.
And both are wearing black. Okay.
Well, out of the short stack, Rico really, he was just going to gamble with that
Ace
king.
of hearts and the 10 of diamonds. Rico shows the king of clubs and the 6 of
Okay,
diamonds.
so we've got... Well, Brian is up a little bit.
Make some noise.
But in this game, man...
Okay, dealer.
Well, both Rico's cards are still live, so we'll see what this flop delivers.
And the flop shows.
An ace, a 10, and a queen, and Rico gets 2 pairs. Sorry, Brian gets 2 pairs.
So I guess Brian, the flop delivered an early Christmas present to Brian.
Rico needs a jack to get straight.
Well, a jack can still get him. A jack can get Brian out.
There's the king.
The king. Well, jack will just help everybody.
The best of this that can happen here is for this pot to split. So with that jack, if it comes,
here we go. It's an ace, and we've got another full house.
That's a heck of a boat, Brian.
Oh, full house aces over 10s. Oh, nothing to be ashamed of, Rico. You did a great job.
I'm proud of myself. I end up third place. So imagine that with the toughest players in this house. Kim is on my left side, so it's kind of hard for me because, He's the chip leader, and I'm the one of the shorts. Have a short stocks.
Who do you hope will win, though?
Well, I go for the long shot.
You go for the long shot?
Yeah, I go for Brian.
Okay. Well, with that said, let's see what happens.
Henry, things are definitely heating up.
Yes, and to get all of you excited, to get all of you off your feet, let's show them the oodles and bundles of cash that the champion will be taking home tonight.
From a field of 60, we are now down to the final 2. And as part of the World Poker Tour tradition, here is the money presentation.
Okay, so we're back. I love the money presentation. Being with these guys for 7 hours, I think I need a break, and I needed to see that money presentation. And we're back with our Ray-Ban chip count with Kim Tae-young, 723,000, and Brian with 159,000 chips.
This is certainly an uphill climb for Brian at this point. Kim has 82% of all the chips in play.
Yeah.
It's going to take a whole lot of luck and a whole lot of heads-up skill for Brian to take this down.
Well, he's built for this. He's back, he's got his game face now. He hasn't done it. Oh, there he goes. I just said it, and there he goes. All in. That's the way to play heads up. And Mr. Kim,
9-6 for Kim, facing an all-in for 159,000 bucks.
If he does get that, he'll be nearer to Kim.
And Kim folds.
As always, Kim will refuse for you to get a double up on him.
You know, the only way for Brian to take this down now is to press every small edge that he can.
My name is Brian Malantic. Businessman. I don't know my age. I stopped counting at 25. Most people know me as the TD. I know the rules. I studied them. Gives me an edge over some of the other players when I play.
Unang pagpunta ko dito sa Baseco, talaga pong binabangka. Kinakarga sa bangka, yung tubig, container yan. Talagang mahirap po. Kasi may mga street lights tayo, may mga water pump, may mga palibre pa tayo dyan sa mga daycare center na pailaw. Napakalaking tulong din dahil po ang income ng patubig ay nababayaran namin sa 4 na metro namin. Pagdating sa mga may sakit na mga kababayan namin dito, nabibigyan din namin ng tulong. Pag talagang alam namin na hirap na yung lumalapit, talagang pinapahiram natin, galing talaga yan sa patubig.
And we are back, and as always, the chip count, brought to you by Ray-Ban. Change your view, as they always say. Mr. Kim leading with 765,000 and Brian with 117,000. Again, still struggling, but never giving up. Never giving up, Brian.
As they say, all you need is a chip and a chair to win a poker tournament, right?
Yeah, it'd be very hard to play without a chair, huh?
And Brian right now is the equivalent of a chip.
That's a chip. Okay, so you've got ace-9. Oh, look at Mr. Kim. He goes all in.
After rubbing his hands with glee.
Yeah, and a smile. He looks like Dolphy.
Kim goes all in. And if
Sorry to
Brian
Dolphy.
falls,
Dolphy looks better. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, what does Brian have to do?
Well, Brian is under pressure for his tournament life. He has 8 deuce, throws it away to stay alive a little bit longer.
And alive he will be.
another pot won by
So we've got Mr. Kim going all in, Brian going all out.
You can pile them up, spin them around, but don't eat them. To occupy your restless hands during this wonderful game and to look a little bit more like a pro, we here at the WPT Philippines will show you how. So pay close attention, because here's Chip Trick.
This is WPT Philippines. I'm the Amornario. This is what I do while I'm waiting for a good hand.
And if you're gonna ask me about the tricks I can do with my chips, the thingy with the 3 chips, I don't know what they call it, but see?
My name's Aris. When playing poker in tournament, you need a lot of patience and sometimes you get bored. I while away the time doing a little bit of tricks. You have 4 chips, you lift up 2, and then just spread them open, and it's called the butterfly.
Wow, that was great. I don't know how to do that. Do you know how to do that?
I know how to do a butterfly, but it's not related to poker.
It's swimming pool. Okay, we got 2 guys, heads up, or head to head, as they say. Brian is, okay.
Brian is first to act.
Brian goes all in.
With the suited connectors.
Well, this is definitely a move by Brian. He's trying to just force a fold out of Kim.
Call. He calls.
But Kim makes an easy call
And
with
Kim
an
calls.
ace.
Kim calls all in with an
Here we
ace
go.
8. This is it.
Well, this is for less than 100,000 chips.
Oh, Brian must be feeling so
you guys
bad
want
right
action?
now. What did I do? Did I bluff the right time?
Brian turns around and tells his fans in the audience that he's behind here. It was the wrong time to do
So,
this.
are we going to see a Korean first Philippine World Poker Tour Philippines Open?
96,000 total.
Oh, he must be hitting himself with a stick. And look at Kim.
Well, after
there you
having seen Brian's reaction to his call, Kim must be very
Kim
happy at this
shows
point.
Ace of
When
spades
Brian flips it
and
over, he'll
eight
be
of-
very, very happy.
And so does the crowd.
Brian shows
Well, Brian's
the
cards are
4
live
spades
and they're
the 5
suited, so we'll see what
spades.
happens.
This game, you never know. You'll never. Oh, they both shake hands.
Okay,
So is this
dealer.
Well,
Show us all the flop.
okay, here you go, Brian. Start praying.
True sportsmen that they are, shake each other's hands.
Oh, 2 spades for Brian.
So now we're in about a 50-50 situation here with Brian catching a flush draw.
All he needs is a spade. Oh,
He could also use the 5.
we forgot about the 5. Brian got the 5. He's got a pair.
He just took the lead, took a big lead in this pot now.
Ace or 8 will make Kim win. Other than that, he'll still stay until tonight.
A spade or anything other than an ace or an 8 is going to give Brian this pot.
Okay. Oh, Mr. Kim is doing the bomber style. And look at that. Brian gets 2 pairs from nothing to something. Oh my goodness. Whoo! What a game.
You gotta get lucky to win.
He can't believe it.
You're watching World Poker Tour Philippines. Poker Madness.
Mahirap po dahil lumalabas pa sila ng tulay eh. Pagdating nila dito, kalahati na lang ang container. Wala na, halos yung iba wala na naman dahil sa lubak-lubak ba na daan dati. Maganda, malaking tulong din yung tangke sa mga tao dito. Noong kailan lang tinawag kami ni Chairman mag-asawa, ang sabi doon, bigyan daw kami ng hanap buhay. Ang sabi niya, magbabantay daw kami dyan sa tangke. Ngayon, meron na ako. Eh, hindi katulad dati na pupunta pa ako sa Divisoria, uwi ako ng madaling araw. Nakapasok ang mga anak ko ng eskwelahan na hindi ko mapalya na araw-araw, bawat sila na araw-araw.
Mr. Kim halved Rico's short stack, crushing his king-high diamond flush with a full house. Brian finished the job on Rico and brought the final table to a meeting of fire and ice.
And we are down to 2, and here we are with the chip count by Ray-Ban. Change your view. We have Kim Tae-hyung, 650,000, and Brian Malantik with 232,000. Woo! Lifeline, lifeline.
A very fortunate double up for Brian, gives him a new lease on life.
And with that double up, gives him more power to compete with Kim. At least gives him, Kim will not anymore bully him at this point. We got a pair, top pair, fours, a 44. That was the gun of Rico a while ago, but didn't blow up. Okay, so Mr. Kim goes all in with a pair of fours. Will Brian survive another?
8-6 offsuit for Brian.
What's she at?
Wow.
I don't know.
Brian makes a bit of a joke, asking the guy with a bigger chip stack how much he has.
And Mr. Kim goes, quack, quack. Oh, well.
My name is Kim Tae-hyung. I'm 36 years old. I'm single on love.
And deal, dealer.
Single on love. I love that. Nick, start talking.
Well, if he wins this tournament, I don't think he's going to be single for very long.
Oh, man, you're going to line up. We're going to be lining outside the studio now. It's like wow, wow, wee.
1,000 more, Kim.
Okay, Kim Tae-hyung with 8 and 10. Mr. Single Love. I like that. Okay, we'll call him the Love Machine. He's chipping.
Raise.
What a wall he has.
Raise.
Raise to 50.
To 50,000.
He raised to just 50,000. I think.
Little pressure play by
We've got Brian
Mr.
now with
Kim.
a pair 5. That was a good raise because if he didn't raise, probably Brian would go all in.
And Brian goes,
He goes all in.
He did it anyway.
He did it again anyway. Okay. So the 30,000 didn't fool him.
This is still a coin toss situation. Kim has 2 overcards if he does make the call. Be about dead even, almost 50-50.
And that's why he's asking for Brian how much he's got.
That's 70.
Okay. So I don't think they need an interpreter for that.
179,000 more for Kim.
Okay, that's what our so here we have head to head again. Kim versus Brian. Korea versus Philippines. Okay. And what does Kim? What do you
All
think?
in the interest and spirit of true international sportsmanship.
That's right. We have the first World Philippine Tour or World Poker Tour Philippines, and it's an international battle.
Who could have asked for more, huh?
Okay, yeah. Brian, you cannot call for a coach, right? It's not allowed. I've seen sometimes that they would even, no, it's not allowed, right?
They do that as gimmicks in certain format tournaments, usually for celebrities. And
For celebrities. Wow, it's the first time I see him smile.
It's a tough call for Kim. I mean, he might want to gamble a little bit, but this is for a good chunk of his stack. But he already does have money in that pot.
Exactly, and he lets it go. Well, yeah, that's true. So he won about, what, 53,000 chips there? Yeah, he did. Okay, so it's a seesaw battle again, as I said. And Brian still hacking and grinding.
Pagcor not only has the power over all forms of gaming, it also has a significant responsibility to the country.
Pagcor was created to regulate forms of gaming in this country. Ang second function ng Pagcor is to generate funds for tourism, to assist in the tourism development of the country. And thirdly, is for us, again, to generate funds for the social civic projects of the government.
Kung wala pa yung tubig, yung mga nakaraang panahon, hirap kami sa tubig dito. Pero sa ngayon, nung nandito na yung tubig, umiit yung presyo ng tubig. Sa 4 pesos, naging 2 pesos per container. Tapos nakapag-ipon pa kami ng konting pondo at nakapagpagawa pa kami ng mga proyekto dito sa aming samahan. Yung aming street light, binabayaran namin na galing din sa tubig. Yung pinagbabantay ko ngayon, dating tricycle driver yan eh. Ngayon, siya na yung pinagbabantay namin. Nagkaroon kami ng ganitong proyekto. Yung tubig ay malaking bagay, lalo na sa maliliit.
Down to 2. They took turns pushing all in. Brian to double up, Mr. Kim to end the suspense. It worked well for Brian, who increased his stock. He still has a long way to go playing catch-up, though.
And long way to go is right. We're up now with our Ray-Ban poker chip count. We have Kim Tae-young with 597,000 and Brian 285,000. He's almost half the stock of Mr. Kim.
Brian has grinded his way up.
Yeah, and the rooster's about to crow. We're up here in the middle of the morning. And Brian is still there. I really thought we were going to go home a while ago, but nope. He's still, and he raises with a Queen 7 hearts.
Total. 260.
Okay. Oh, looks like Mr. Kim has not been getting the cards that he's been getting a while ago. He's been getting these off-numbered, off-suited decision cards. I hate those cards.
Well, all rushes end eventually, Henry. The cards even out overtime.
Yeah, even our mic's gonna get overtime pretty soon with our. But Mr. Kim calls the raise. Doesn't believe Mr. Brian over here. So he called him.
Mr. Kim has actually come over the top. He's re-raised Brian.
He's re-raising Brian. Wow, what a bold move, huh?
It's a fantastic move, making Brian think real hard about that holding he's got.
Uh-huh.
It's 18,000 total.
880,000 total?
180,000.
Brian is making sure. Okay.
There's a huge difference between 18,000 and
180,000. Here we go again, head to head. Now Brian is the one who has to make the decision.
Is my Queen 7 suited good enough?
He's staring down on Mr. Kim.
We've seen Brian do this all night. He doesn't make very rapid decisions. He's a very contemplative type of player.
He's probably computing how much, well, there's nothing much to compute. He's thinking. Mr. Kim is saying, get out, get out, get out.
He's working Mr. Kim verbally a little bit here just to see if Mr. Kim can give anything away. He wants to know if this is a re-steal or if it is a genuinely strong hand. It is, in fact, a re-steal by Mr. Kim.
It's a re-steal by Mr. Kim. And Brian folds. Well, for heads-up action, it's very good. There's, nobody's just folding for the sake of folding. Nobody's giving it up. We would like to thank our host, the Airport Casino Filipino. What do you think about this place, Nick?
Fantastic facility. It's a very large facility, friendly staff, great atmosphere.
Yeah, and the ceilings are high. You don't smell like smoke. It's a great place to be in. So here we're down again, heads up, head to head. We have, whoa, how nice that, I like the trophy. It looks like Pacquiao's shorts. Okay, so first to act, we have again, who's the first to act here? I got lost there. Oh, Kim. King and 10, spades, suited, ready to go, ready to fire. Just gonna raise him.
Opens his pot for 50,000 chips.
He hasn't let go yet. Okay, 50,000 chips. Okay, so here we have again Brian.
50K to Brian. And what's Brian got sitting underneath there?
Just checking.
Brian's got a big one, ace 10, a dominating hand.
All in.
Oh, and it goes all in, that's what you just said.
And true to form, Brian puts all his chips in the middle.
And he's got what, 222,000 right now. He threw it all in?
Yeah, he's all in for 222.
Yeah, because Kim got a little bit of him a while ago.
140,000
And loose change. 140,000 loose change.
Kim calls.
And Kim calls again.
Very quick call by Mr. Kim Tae-hyung.
Wow, with a king 10, and you got ace 10. Well, Brian looks up, but second time he's getting Brian to go all in.
Brian's fans in the background there, standing in anticipation.
Okay, will we have a first Korean World Poker Tour Philippines champion or a Filipino?
Well, Brian's in good shape here. He's a big favorite going into this flop. He's dominating and he's suited.
So, only way for Kim to win is all spades and a king. There's a spade. There's a spade. Okay, so Kim's got 4 spades. Not looking good for Brian, but still, Brian's still up with an ace high.
Brian's still ahead in the spot, but Kim, by virtue of catching that flush draw on the flop, has mathematically evened out a little bit. We're almost 50-50 at this point.
Oh, 10, and both get a pair 10. Brian gets 2 pairs, ace kicker.
Brian's edge is maintaining here. So this river is going to be very, very dramatic. A spade or a king.
One is saying spade, one is saying king. What will it be?
Brian's got to dodge that spade or that king.
I need a drink. I can't take this. Show it. Oh, okay, Brian wins again.
Brian has now doubled.
Oh my God.
Brian has actually doubled up, and I believe has taken for the first time the chip lead.
Oh, yes, that gave him now a chip lead. Woo, Mr. Kim. Oh man. Yes. And we will be right back for some more poker exciting actions. Stay tuned.
Unang pagpunta ko dito sa talaga pong binabangka. Kinakarga sa bangka, yung tubig, container yan. Talagang mahirap po. Kasi may mga street lights tayo, may mga water pump, may mga palibre pa tayo dyan sa mga daycare center na pailaw. Napakalaking tulong din dahil po ang income ng patubig ay nababayaran namin sa 4 na metro namin. Pagdating sa mga may sakit na mga kababayan namin dito, nabibigyan din namin ng tulong. Pag talagang alam namin na hirap na yung lumalapit, talagang pinapahiram natin, galing talaga yan sa patubig.
The bigger blinds worked in Mr. Kim's favor as Brian's stack dwindled some. But luck for the homeboy came as a kicker to a 2-pair. Now he has a minor lead in chips and a significant momentum switch.
And let's check back to the Poker Madness chip count with Ray-Ban Change Your View. We have now Brian ahead with 446,000 and Kim now not finally.
Yours. Remember the mistakes you made and the correct moves you made?
Yeah, that's where it comes. And Brian raises to 40,000 with his kings and king and 10 offsuited. 80,000.
So Brian's come over the top, not believing that Kim had anything significant that he opened that pot with.
And Kim calls.
Now, I've noticed Kim. He's totally threw away the book. He's not following his strategy anymore. I mean, is that the word? I think he's steaming right now after being hit twice. He could have been the champion twice. Oh, and we've got a full board right now. With Brian again, with the king.
Well, if you'll recall that rush that Kim enjoyed throughout the majority of this final table, we're beginning to see that swing the other way. Brian is the guy catching now. He's catching
the
flops,
cards.
catching cards.
And Kim's got a pair 10. No, sorry, Kim's got nothing so far. Well, he's looking for a jack, and both are looking for a jack, but Brian's got a king.
Brian's got top pair, and he's also got the same gut shot draw as Mr. Kim.
And they're in head-to-head again.
Kim is drawing mighty, mighty thin here.
Not his hairline, right? It's just it's drawing mighty, mighty thin. Okay. Oh man, what you know? I wouldn't want to be in Mr. Kim's shoes. You know those two events that happened a while ago. You know, you think you're gonna win, you're there already, and then you just lose it. And he bets 20,000.
20,000.
So the check of Brian.
He's betting 20 grand on the come on that jack, not knowing that that jack is utterly useless to him. It's going to split that pot. At best, we're looking at running hearts for a flush for Mr. Kim. Brian checked.
Well, I think there was a mistake here. I think Brian's correcting him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was a mistake with the bet, and you know, Mr. Brian knows all the rules.
Yeah, as he told us earlier.
He told us earlier. Okay, I think Mr. Kim wanted to bet more, but he only put 20,000 in, and he let go.
Brian checked his pair of kings. That's middle pair on this board. He knows he has a gut shot, straight draw. He's looking for a jack, so he's got a pretty strong hand here. But there is an ace on that flop, and Kim just made a bet representing perhaps an ace.
Although he wanted to bet more just to show that he had it, but I think totally blew his. There, see the dealer is returning the chips. Of course, Brian calls it cheap. You got a cheap shot. It's not a cheap shot. I mean, it was a cheap.
I believe the ruling was it was a string bet by Mr. Kim. Again, inexperience. He failed to make that declaration.
Okay, so both have tens.
Brian has Brian has kings and tens now.
Oh my God, two pairs. He's doing it now. He's doing it now.
Kim can no longer win the spot. The best he can hope for is a split if that miracle jack comes up.
Yeah, well, at least he's not drawing dead. He still has the chance for a split. And, well, we'll see.
Brian is sitting very pretty at this point, and he knows it too.
So both checked. Both check. I think Brian was just trying to bait him.
Oh, he may be concerned about a jack in hand.
Okay, you got 4 clubs looking at you on the table. You've got a jack looking at you at the table. You got 2 pairs. Everything is possible. When Brian goes all in. At this point, if he gets Kim now, he wins.
Yeah, this is now, Kim is now for the first time in the entire tournament at risk for his entire tournament life.
It's his turn.
This is a deep decision to make with only a pair of tens.
I think those 2 hits really got him. His mind is going crazy right now. And Brian is riding it. He's riding the flow. He's riding the streak. And Kim folds. Live and fight another day. Okay, Brian is now leading.
I'll show the camera.
He showed the camera. I didn't see the camera. Okay, Brian, next time, don't show the camera. We'd like to thank our host, our gracious host, Airport Casino Filipino.
Yeah, great bunch of guys, very big supporters of poker.
And great bingo games, too.
Big bingo games.
Big bingo games. And they have a lovely, lovely Le Buffet. Okay, heads up, head on, any head you can call.
Momentum definitely swung Brian Malantic's way. Brian is in a good spot. He's very relaxed. He's got a lot of chips, and he knows he's gotten under Mr. Kim's skin a little bit here.
Yeah, definitely under his skin, man. I'd be steaming right now. 3 hits in a row. I mean, what more? I mean, look at all the chips of Mr. Kim now on the board.
But what a story for Brian. I mean, coming back at such a distinct disadvantage when they got heads up.
Oh, really. I mean, and then look at that. Again, King, Queen. what more do you... I'd rather have that than a pocket anytime. It gives you so many outs. Gives you straights, gives you double pairs. You don't depend on the table.
And in a head-up situation, these are very strong cards. But if you notice, Brian has now not made an all-in bet. He's made a raise to 90,000.
60,000 more for Kim.
Maybe trying to change his strategy a little bit.
Well, he's also going to be, if he can fold Kim without putting all his chips at risk or a chunk of his chips at risk, why not, right?
That's right. Oh,
He's
well.
just run into a bigger hand.
He run into a bigger hand. And Mr. Kim is now, Mr. Kim probably saying, I'm going to get back at this guy. He does the usual show of weakness look. Looks down. Ace-Jack is pretty strong right now.
Well, it's a favorite in this hand. It dominates. That ace dominates Brian's king.
And this probably will, he must be saying, do I want him in or should I bluff him? I mean, you know, throw in a big amount and keep everything. And he goes all in. All in now. Now it's Mr. Kim now going on all in on Brian. A while ago it was Brian on Kim. Now it's Kim on Brian.
This is going to make Brian sit back and think a little bit, if I know Brian. Brian is going to have to... He's probably going to give Mr. Kim another patented Brian stare down. Only because he's going to be wondering really hard about whether or not this is worth the call. Is Mr. Kim re-stealing? But Mr. Kim knows it's coming too. He stood up and walked away.
He doesn't want to see Brian anymore. He said something to Brian and Brian can't hear it. Sorry, Brian, you can't understand it. It's in Korean. Okay, well, I think Mr. Kim has learned already. Stay away from Brian. Stay away from the stare.
Well, Mr. Kim's committed. His chips are all in. Now it's up to Brian. Brian's got to decide whether he's going to call here. This is a very tough decision. This is going to swing the... This is going to be the equivalent of a three-shot swing in golf.
That's right, 3-shot swing in golf. 1 bogey's and new birdie. That's it, 3 shots. Oh, very difficult, very difficult. I mean, with the king queen, I wouldn't even think of. But if you're talking about putting everything on the line for this, king queen, is that enough? That's what he's probably thinking right now. This is for the championship. This is to be the first ever WPT Philippines champion.
Mr. Kim is a 59% favorite in this pot, but this is a heads-up situation. Brian is not that big of an underdog. He does have about a 2-to-1 chip advantage now over Mr. Kim. This would be a very tight spot for me. But then again, I haven't been accused.
And he calls! And he calls! This is it!
Brian stands up and shows what he's made of.
What flag will you raise, the Korean or the Philippines?
Brian sees he's dominated, but his cards are live. And as you said, he's got a lot of outs.
Oh, definitely.
I haven't seen a flop yet.
I mean, with an ace right there, Mr. Kim must be saying, I got it.
Mr. Kim's happy. Anybody would be happy in this spot. Looking to double up.
And this is the way to go. This is the way to go. You don't... Oh, the king comes to Brian.
Again, the
king comes to Brian.
The Mr. Kim rush has changed seats. Brian has caught a king on that flop. He now has a pair of kings in this pot.
Low card. So, any low card, Brian becomes the champion. A 9. Okay, 1 more card and we got the first Filipino champion. Or an ace comes out and we have a first Korean champion.
All Brian has to do now is dodge an ace.
Everything on the river. Like any great tournament championship, always at the last card, always at the river. We'll see who's gonna win. Come on, baby.
Show us the river.
Or even a jack. Yeah, a jack. Give him a jack.
Here we go.
Yes. It's a jack.
I can't stand it. Dang! We have a Filipino champion!
Congratulations to Brian Malantic, who played
what a game!
3 days of fantastic poker and one of the best head-up games I've seen in a long, long time.
Great heads-up game. And Brian, whoa, Brian, you deserve it. You deserve it. Woo!
We have a Filipino champion, Henry.
We have a Filipino champion. And all his friends have been there the whole... It's 5 o'clock in the morning. Oh, Mr. Kim, you have nothing to be ashamed of.
Mr. Kim played a fantastic game. He played his rush well. Nothing to be ashamed of.
Look at Brian bringing Mr. Kim to the crowd. That was a great gesture, Mr. Brian. Nice gesture.
Real sportsman.
Brian broke into Mr. Kim's concentration and put him on the defensive. With his chips migrating to Brian's stack, Mr. Kim needed a change of pace, but he pushed his luck too far, and it was game over.
Brian wins with a pair of 10s, a pair of 7s, and ace kicker.
Final Poker Madness ranks are 6th place, Jigs Castro. 5th place, Ed Marcelo. 4th place, Patrick De Jesus. 3rd place, Rico De La Cruz. 2nd place, Kim Tai-hyun. And the Poker Madness champion, Brian Malantig.
Mahirap po dahil lumalabas pa sila ng tulay eh. Pagdating nila dito, kalahati na lang ang container. Wala na, halos yung iba wala na naman dahil sa lubak-lubak ba na daan dati. Maganda, malaking tulong din yung tangke sa mga tao dito. Noong kailan lang tinawag kami ni Chairman mag-asawa, ang sabi doon, bigyan daw kami ng hanap buhay. Ang sabi niya, magbabantay daw kami dyan sa tangke. Ngayon, meron na ako. Hindi katulad dati na pupunta pa ako sa Divisoria, uwi ako na madaling araw. Nakapasok ang mga anak ko ng eskwelahan na hindi ko mapalya na araw-araw. Bawat sila na araw-araw. Tsaka,
Philippines, boy, what a 3-day event did we have. 2 days of grueling games up to 12 midnight. And today, the last day, the last night, I have lost count of the number of hours that we are here, but it kept going back and forth, and finally, we have the first World Poker Tour Philippines Poker Madness champion, Mr. Brian Malagtik. Masyadong madikit. Couple of words, I'm sure it's not sinking in right now, but how do you feel right now?
I think I gotta see a doctor tomorrow to check my heart. It was awesome. This experience, the way we played, everybody was good.
Well, I'd now like to present the two finest looking casino bosses in the city, Mr. Ernie Reyes and Mr. Danny Navarro, to present our champion with the trophy for the first World Poker Tour Philippines Poker Madness Tournament.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Pagcor.
Thank you for giving this to me.
It has been a culminating event. We'd like to invite Aaliyah in so we can have our final
Aaliyah.
celebration.
Oh, let's give Aaliyah a big hand.
Beautiful Aaliyah.
Whoa.
She is.
Oh, definitely. Okay.
Cute.
Thank you, Aaliyah.
Ladies and gentlemen, a toast to the first champion of the World Poker Tour Philippines Poker Madness Tournament, Mr. Brian Malantig. Thank you all very much and good night.
Oh, congratulations to Mr. Brian Malantig.